Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to be talking about what I think the Panthers should do in this upcoming draft. Now, obviously tonight is going to be the first round. Probably not going to be doing anything. So in this scenario, we're not doing any trade ups. Don't foresee that happening at all. So I'll go through three ways I can see the Panthers draft kind of panning out. So starting off, we're going to start with if we stick at pick 33. Now, if we stick at pick 33, um, there's obviously been some reports, and I think it's kind of true. If Xavier Legette is there at 33, we'll stick a pick and we'll take Xavier Legette, unless like something crazy happens where like a Jackson Powers Johnson falls or one of like the top corners fall. I don't see us, take anyone else besides Xavier Legette. Absolute stud, 6'1", 221 pounds from South Carolina. The Panthers have made no effort to show that we do not that we don't want Xavier Legette. Like we've met him like 4 or 5 different times. Everyone in the league, everyone in the whole entire country knows that we want Xavier Legette. So if he's there at 33, we stick and pick him. And then at 39, a guy I absolutely love, and if he falls here, I would love to have him here in Carolina. That's at 39. TJ Tampa from Iowa State. He is 6'1", 189. Absolutely amazing cover corner. Very, very physical as well. So if JC Horn does get hurt, you have that guy who's going to be able to step up. But him and JC Horn, I would love that duo. I love Dane Jackson as well, but I want more, at least more depth at that cornerback position if we don't re-sign Stephon Gilmore. At 65, I think because of his age, because he's going to be 25 at the start of the season, and his injury concerns, is going to drop down Peyton Wilson from North Carolina State. Now, obviously, Luke Kuechly likes him. A lot of analysts around the league like him, but it is going to be a big risk for a lot of GMs to go after Peyton Wilson because, yes, he is 6'4", 233, runs like a 4.39, has all these physical attributes. But he's going to be, like I said, he's going to be 25, and he's somewhat injury prone. So because he's at a position that, is a little bit devalued in the NFL, he's going to fall a little bit. Now, maybe not to 65. Maybe we might jump up to get him. But if he's in that 55 range and below, I could obviously see the Panthers trying to trade to get him because he's going to be a guy that Dan Morgan's going to absolutely love to get for the Panthers. At 101, this is one of my draft sleepers that I hope that if he's there by 101, I want us to take because his position flexibility. The top position flexibility, players on the offensive line are your Troy Fontenot's and then your Graham Barnes, but the next tier below is Mason McCormick from South Dakota State. I love Mason McCormick. He is 6'4", 309, can play anywhere on the interior. He can be your backup center if Austin Corbett if he doesn't really pan out, if he gets injured again. I don't think we're going to spend a very high pick on a center if we already are paying our center. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of people of Panthers really just saying we should go with the center on our second pick, unless it's someone like Jackson Powers Johnson that's like for sure going to work out in the NFL. I don't think that we'll reach on like a Zach Frazier, even though I love Zach Frazier. He still has some concerns that I have for him. So if I am the Carolina Panthers and my scenario is sticking at 33, taking best available, I am not going to be reaching on a center. Instead, I'll get the position flexibility because, also of note, Brady Christensen, this is his last year. So if we don't re-sign him, we need another guy who's going to be, who can play basically all positions, and that's going to be Mason McCormick. At 141, a guy I absolutely love, and this is where we get our edge. This edge group is very deep, and there's a lot of pass rushing defensive ends later on in the draft. So at 141, we get our guy in Javon Solomon from Troy. Like I said, he was in my defense sleepers. I love Javon Solomon. He's 6'1", 246. Would fit that Hassan Reddick role that we haven't had since he's, basically since he's been here. Absolute stud. Especially also in the run game, too. He holds up his own because he has that natural leverage, being a little bit lower to the ground, and has, I think it's like 34 or 33.38-inch arms. He has really long arms for being 6'1". So he still has the body type to be able to hold up against a lot of these, humongous offensive tackles in the NFL. I love Javon Solomon. If he comes here, I would be ecstatic. At 142, this is potential where I'm saying if we decide to move up, we could get rid of one of our 5th-round picks that are back to back. But in this case, we're sticking and picking. At 142, we take another wide receiver, give us a little bit of a different look, and Anaya Smith. I love Anaya Smith from Texas A&M. I've loved him for like 3 years now. He is 5'9", 190. Definitely going to fit more of the slot, but he's also an amazing returner, and especially with the new return kickoff rules, he would fit that perfectly. He is a very explosive wide receiver who has basically no drops. Like, as much as we talk about Roman Dunze barely dropping anything, Anaya Smith is like one of the tops where he's maybe dropped like 10 passes at Texas A&M, which is ridiculous. But he's another yak threat that I really like him being like a wide receiver 5 that eventually when, like, Adam Thielen, like, he's going to get older, he can basically replace Adam Thielen as being our slot for the future. I love Anaya Smith. And at 240, this is a 7th-round pick. You're going to try to reach for some, but I'm going to be reaching for a guy we don't have on the team. That's a power back, and that's going to be Jace McClellan from Bama, 5'10", 221. I like Jace McClellan. There are some things that I'm like he doesn't have that breakaway speed that you really want in your running backs, but he has really great vision, has really great cuts, and so if you just want a downhill runner who is going to be serviceable in passing game, Jason McClellan's your guy. So that's my first situation. If we just stick at 33, don't do anything else. Now what about trade down? Obviously, at pick 33, this is a pick that's usually kind of traded out of sometimes if there's value. If one of those top 6 quarterbacks falls to us at 33, you better believe that the phones are going to be ringing. So if Michael Penix is there, I could easily see that either the Raiders or the Giants will be willing to try to trade up and get Michael Penix Jr. So in this scenario, the Raiders went out, and the Raiders are the ones that we end up taking their picks. We end up taking a 2nd, a 4th, and then next year's 3rd. Obviously, you would like to get next year's 2nd. I don't think that's going to happen with like a trade, but getting 2 third-round picks would be able to supplant not having our 2nd-round pick next year. So, in this scenario, we started from a pick 39. Here's where I'm kind of, I don't really know. It really depends on if Xavier Legette is hit there. If Xavier Legette is there at 39, then obviously we'll go Xavier Legette. But the more and more that you go past 33, I don't think Xavier Legette's going to make it to 39. I've seen a lot of mock drafts have him be like, oh, he's going to be there, obviously. You just don't find guys who move like that. You don't find guys like Xavier Legette all the time. Yeah, he's a late bloomer, so he might fall down a little bit, but people would trade up to get the kind of guy who has this kind of attributes. So if not, if he's still there, you take Xavier Legette. If not, it go BPA probably. I'll still go with like a TJ Tampa or something like that at pick 39. At pick 65, I'm still sticking with Peyton Wilson if he's there. Like I said, I love Peyton Wilson. He kind of fits more of the Frankie Louvu pass rush, but just like has absolutely amazing speed that we lost when Louvu's gone. I like Josie Jewell. I really do. And I love Shaq Thompson. But I also know that Shaq Thompson is coming off an injury. He's getting a little bit older, and outside of them, we don't really have that much depth. We have Horace Chandler Wooten, and then we also brought back a guy. I'm trying to remember, Tay Davis. But besides them, we don't really have another backup linebacker like we had last year that really came in handy. So I think we will draft some linebacker. I hope it's Peyton Wilson. And then at 101, like I said again, I love Mason McCormick. So if Mason McCormick is there, he is my guy because could you say you're reaching for a small school product? Maybe. But at the same exact time, I just love his play style. I love his position flexibility. He'll find a place in the NFL, and I feel pretty confident Mason McCormick is going to be good. Um, Next, so with that fourth round pick we get is 112. At 112 is a guy that he was one of my sleepers, and if he's there in the fourth, I would love him. Gives another dynamic that we do not have in our running back room. That's Isaac Garindo from Louisville. He is 6 foot 221. He has blazing, absolutely blazing speed that we don't have in our running back room. Now Raheem Blackshear has blazing speed, but he doesn't have the power that Isaac Garindo does. And also, the other thing too that I think that we're going to draft a running back somewhere in our draft is because Chuba Hubbard is in the last year of his deal. Miles Sanders, technically you can get out of the contract after next year, but are you? I don't really know. But at the end of the day, you still need to have another guy who's going to be there for the long haul. And I hope it's Chuba. I love Chuba, but if we don't re-sign him, we're kind of in a situation where we have to take a running back or have to get a running back in free agency. And I'd rather take a flyer on a guy in the fourth round who I really like. That's going to be Isaac Garindo. At 141, a speedster at a wide receiver, and that's going to be Taj Washington, that I absolutely adore from USC. He is 5'10", 174. Now, obviously, you look at that 174, it's like, oh, dude, he's super duper small. Yes, but dude absolutely like lays out for any pass. If you throw it up there, he's going to try to come down with it. He besides Brendan Rice, he was the go-to guy, especially on the third down that Caleb Williams was looking for. I love him. Just like don't just watch his highlights. If you don't really want to go all into film, he makes some incredible catches. Not necessarily like Ricky Pearsall, but he makes some incredible catches for as small as he is. He's got hops. He's a really good wide receiver. That in the same exact way that I said with Nia Smith, I would love him to be that backup slot guy who's going to be a field stretcher, and then eventually when Adam Thielen either retires or he leaves, you have your guy for the future. Love Taj Washington. At 142, just like I did before where I had Javon Solomon, I'm taking my other guy that if you watch my sleeper defensive picks, I love Mo Kamara. Muhammad Kamara is 6'1", 248 from Colorado State. If you watch that Colorado State game, you saw him everywhere. He was all over the field, and he was that for every single game that he ever played. Dude led most of the country in pressures. Obviously, you look at Colorado State, like, oh, it's smaller schools. Yeah, but the technique is still there. That's the thing. He's still 6'1", so he has that natural leverage. He has long enough arms that he's going to be able to hold up in the NFL. And as a pure pass rusher like him and Javon Solomon, you can have them that first year just be your James Houston that the Detroit Lions have. Be like a lot of the other players who initially all they are just pass rush specialists. Alex Highsmith was another one who was just a pass rush specialist coming in, and then he's developed into an amazing prospect. And I love him coming out too. But Mo Kamara, I love. I think he's going to go higher than 141 because of his talent. But if he's there, I'm taking him. At 240 is a guy that I really fell in love with as I was watching Jared Verse. I was watching Braden Fisk. And that's going to be Fabian Levette Sr. He is 6'4", 314 from Florida State. Absolutely mountain of a man in the middle of the defense that can basically replace if we get rid of Shy Tuttle next year. Shy Tuttle is another one of those contracts, just like with Miles Sanders. If we want to, we can cut him and get a lot of cap compensation back. But dude's absolute dog in the run game. He's a father. Obviously, that's the reason why he's a senior. He's got that dad strength, and it shows on tape. But I love Fabian Levette Sr. So you take a flyer on him in the 7th. If he's there, I don't think he will. I think he'll probably go in the 6th. But I love him there. Our next scenario is this. Obviously, I've been kind of hinting at that, if Xavier gets there, we're going to take him. We're going to take him. Yes, technically, we tell every single prospect if they're there, we're going to take them. But as much as we've shown that we really like Xavier Legette, I feel pretty confident if our first pick he's there, we're taking him. But what if he's not there? You just take best player available. I mean, there's nothing really else to kind of change. So if I'm going best player available, this is what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with 33. I'll go with TJ Tampa. Like I said, feel pretty confident he's going to be there. Maybe there's another corner that falls down. But TJ Tampa's my guy. Like I said, he's that 6'1", 189 Iowa State guy. If you watch him against a player that I'm gonna be mentioning later, dude was a dog, and both of them were battling all night, and I absolutely loved them. And it was a good thing that I watched that game. At 39, I am not reaching here. Some people might say I'm reaching, but no. Ricky Pearsall is one of like the guys that I feel so surely is going to work in the NFL, and I absolutely love him. He's like I said, he's one of my offensive sleeper picks. He is 6'1", 189 from Florida. Dude catches everything, even if his quarterback makes a stupid throw. There were so many times that just hospital passes to Ricky Pearsall, and he came down with it. It just surprised you. His catch radius is absolutely immaculate. He's got really great routes, and he's got speed to him. Like him and Ladd are not, just, oh well, they're just a wide receiver. No, they literally have like something that you do not see, and that's very crisp routes with speed. That's just that you don't see it as much anymore, but crisp routes with speed, absolutely amazing. He could basically be your, like I said, he could be your replacement for Deontay Johnson. If Deontay Johnson does not work out after 1 year, you can let him go and you have Ricky Pearsall. If not, Ricky Pearsall will also be a really great slot. So I love that for Ricky Pearsall. At 65, I'm going a little bit different here than what I have been. I have been going Peyton Wilson, but in this scenario, Peyton Wilson's not there, so we're going with best player available. And for me, that's Ben Sinnott. Now, I could obviously see him going to Kansas City at 64, but if he's there at 65, I love Ben Sinnott. That's the guy I was talking about. Him versus TJ Tampa. Both of them were balling out in that Iowa State Kansas State game that I was watching, and that's where I fell in love with both these guys. Ben Sinnott, 6'3", 250 from Kansas State, absolute dog. Very, very smooth as well. As big as he is, he's a very smooth route runner. Can still improve, but us Panthers fans are talking about how we really want another great tight end. Maybe Tommy Trimble can, develop into that. But I think Ben Sinnott would be a great addition to the Panthers if he's there at 65. At 101, one of my favorite kind of like back half picks that if he's there at 101, absolutely take him. But he's probably not. He's probably going to third. And that's going to be Jaden Hicks from Washington State. Absolutely, dog as a safety. He is 6'1", 211. He lays the wood. You watch his tape. He is not afraid of contact. He'll be a very great, strong safety. And the other reason why I'm drafting a safety is because I don't think the Panthers have really, well, the Panthers fans more so, have looked at the fact that outside of Jamie Robinson, all of our safeties are either on 1-year deals or the end of their contract. So, like I just said with the running backs, I would rather have a guy already there, and not just one guy. I'd rather have a guy already there who, if if contract disputes kind of don't work out in our favor and they leave, we're not in a bad situation. But Jaden Hicks, absolutely imposing figure at the safety position, would love him if he was at 140. Sorry, 110. At 141, I've said it before, and actually we'll do both of them. So 141, Taj Washington, if he's there, love him. Yeah, I already took Ricky Pearsall, who could be like a bigger slot, but I think Ricky Pearsall can play outside. And having Taj Washington be another speed guy that you can add something that you do not really have on the team. I love Taj Washington. Like I've already said, love him to death. So if he's there at 141, we're taking him. At 142, if he's there, Mo Kamara, like I said, absolutely love him as well. So those are kind of my chalk picks of like late round picks. If somehow that player is there, I am pounding the table for them because they are absolutely outstanding at their craft. And at 240, I'm taking a running back. And this is a guy who doesn't really have the burst, but has, absolute massive build with pretty good vision. And that's going to be Kendall Milton from Georgia. He is 6'1", 225. Watching him at Georgia, he just absolutely just runs through people. He has enough speed that it's not like he's just like it has like cement blocks of feet, but like he still doesn't have that breakaway speed that you wished. But if you need a guy like your Dante Foreman, he's that mold. So Kendall Milton's another one that I just love. If he's there, you take a flyer on him. If he doesn't work out, that's fine. But you get yourself a power back that you do not really have on the team right now. So after talking about all these three different scenarios, one of the things that I like to also talk about is some of my top undrafted free agents that I feel like are going to be undrafted free agents. So obviously, I kind of hit on some of these if they're there. Like obviously Fabian Levette, obviously if Kendall Milton is there or Jace McCullough, those are the guys that if they're somehow there, I would love for us to pick them up. There's one guy that I know for certain is not going to be drafted, and I honestly did not know he was in the draft until I was just searching through some of the names who were draft eligible, and I came across his name, and I was like, I know that name. And I started to have Vietnam War flashbacks of like, where have I seen this name before? And it is going to be LaDamian Webb, South Alabama running back, who is 5'7", yes, small, 210. So absolutely yoked 5'7". And if you watch his highlights, you will understand why I love him and why I was deathly afraid of him. Because in high school, he was at Beauregard. Now, if you know me, I played football as well. I did not play defense, though, as offensive lineman. And I distinctly remember him absolutely torching our defense because as offense, we put up 35 points. I know I'm kind of going back and talking like reminiscing, but I want to talk to you how good this guy was in high school. Obviously had some hiccups along the way, but dude was Mr. Football and Mr. Alabama football his junior year. Ran almost for 300 yards against us, and took his team to the state championship game where they won. His senior year, he had another great year. Was going to go to Mississippi State, but unfortunately had academic reasons, and he didn't end up going. So he had to go to junior college. He went to I think it's Jones College. Then after a year at Jones College where he balled out, he transferred to Florida State, but it was the COVID year. So he did really well there. So if you're a Florida State fan, you might remember that name, LaDamian Webb. He was a guy who was kind of showing like, oh, well, he has shown some promise. But because it was COVID, I think he said that he wanted to try to get back to something that was familiar, went back to Jones College, and that's where he kind of talked about how his journey really started. Of like he was concerned that he was not able to continue on his journey, but he kept on getting encouragement from his coaches, from his teachers. That way, he was back at Jones College. So that second term at Jones College really gave him the push to keep going. And then the next 2 years at South Alabama, rushed for 1,000 yards each. And if you remember the Oklahoma State South Alabama game, he absolutely went off. So if you're an Oklahoma State fan, you might know the name, or you at least know a small little running back absolutely torching your defense, where South Alabama absolutely dominated Oklahoma State. So LaDamian Webb is I should have put him in my sleeper offensive picks, but when I was making that list, I didn't even think about it. But I feel like he's going to be a guy that people can fall in love with because of his story. And also, if you watch his highlights, if you watch the film, he has amazing contact balance. He has a great spin move, nonetheless, and has great vision. Does he have that 4.3 speed? No. He has decent enough speed. He just needs to kind of work on that second gear. Maybe that second gear get a little bit better. But as being a late round or undrafted free agent, I feel like LaDamian Webb is a name people should be familiar with, because I think he has a chance of making the NFL, or who knows, maybe making the spring league. But I really hope that LaDamian Webb works out, because as a guy who went against him in high school, dude was a dog, and I hope that he gets his shot in the NFL. So obviously, that's just my opinion. I don't really know how the NFL draft is going to go, but some of these, like all these players that I suggest, I absolutely adore, and I hope that the Panthers get them. I'm interested to see what the first round is going to be like. So if you have any comments or concerns about why did I believe and this player, not this player, for the Panthers draft, please let me know. I always encourage comments because I always love to hear like your opinion of what you think is going to happen. So thank you so much for watching. Come by the stream tonight, and also I will be streaming. Be streaming with Luke tonight, the first round, the second round, third round. I'll be streaming by myself. So come on by, ask some draft questions, see some of my reactions. It's gonna be kind of crazy for sure. But thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.